Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, I'm going to break down for you why I chose the P365X over the P365XL or the standard P365. So in order to kind of give you guys a full picture on why I picked what I picked, I'm going to have to give you a little bit of background on what my previous everyday carry guns were and what I was specifically looking for in this new concealed carry gun. But if you don't care at all about the background, just skip to the next time card. So when I bought my first ever concealed carry gun, that was the Glock 42, and all I wanted in that gun, I wanted the smallest possible thing that I could shoot well. And the Glock 42 served that purpose really, really well, and I still love that gun. I don't really carry it as much anymore. I shot really well with it. It was reliable and a great little gun, especially for my first concealed carry gun. Then when I went to choose my second concealed carry gun, I kind of had a little bit more specifics that I was looking into. I wanted something with a higher capacity. I wanted something that I could mount an optic on, and I wanted something that I could take to classes and wouldn't have to be worried about mainly capacity, because my 42 only had 6 rounds plus 1. And so I went in and I tried several different guns. I have an entire video on that. Mind you, that's an older video. I pretty much tried every common concealed carry gun there was out there, and I wound up choosing the Glock 48. After several months of carrying the Glock 48, I really was starting to encounter my kind of parameters in terms of concealment. So to kind of give you a point of reference for how big a Glock 48 is on my frame, I am 5 feet tall and about 108, 110 pounds. And my hip width, when I measure that in comparison to the actual width or height from the bottom of the grip to the top of the optic, and kind of do some cool math things and compare that to the average size male carrying a Glock 34, the Glock 48 proportionally is larger on my body frame than a Glock 34 is on an average size male. Average size male being 5'10", 180 pounds. So it's a big gun for me to carry, and after several months of carrying the Glock 48, I realized that, and I decided I wanted something that was closer in size to my Glock 42, but still allowed me to have good capacity and something I could still mount an optic on. And it became pretty clear pretty quickly that the P365 series was going to be the place where I needed to spend some more time. Once I decided that my new carry gun was going to be one of the P365 series guns, I started kind of looking into costs and also just the dimensions of the gun. And I knew that I wanted something closer in size to my Glock 42 versus my Glock 48. And so I pretty much ruled out the P365XL right out of the gate. Even though it is smaller than my Glock 48, it still didn't serve that purpose of a considerably smaller gun for me. I kind of felt like if I was going to be carrying something closer in size to the 48, I was just going to carry my 48. I'm already comfortable with it, proficient with it. So I ruled out the XL immediately, and so I kind of niched down into looking specifically into the P365 and the P365XL. So once I niched down there, I started looking into pricing because I knew I needed it to be optics ready, and I knew that I wanted the smaller grip module. So the standard P365 doesn't come optics ready. I would have had to send it out to get milled, but the X comes optics ready. Wasn't gonna have to send it out to be milled. That's a cost thing and also just an inconvenience thing. So I wound up going with the X because I wasn't going to have to mill it for an optic, and all I was gonna need to do is purchase a standard grip module as well as another mag. And if you are somebody who shoots Glocks or generally shoots other things than SIG, you're not used to paying $50 for a magazine, but yeah, they're really proud of their magazine. So I had to factor that into the cost as well, because if I'm getting another grip module, I needed to get the smaller magazine. So really quickly, I wanted to kind of break down the cost evaluation that I was looking at in case you guys are here looking to consider which one you want to get. I'll give you a general idea of what kind of prices I was looking at paying for each one. So the P365 would have cost me about $684, but after shipping and the cost of getting it milled, it would have roughly cost me $715, give or take. And then again, I wasn't really interested in the XL. I'd kind of ruled it out already. For an XL with the Romeo Zero would have cost about $650 plus shipping, plus the smaller grip module and at least one other mag. So all in all, it would have roughly been about $770. And then the cost for the X like this is $739-ish with the grip module and an additional mag. So to kind of run that through again, about $715 for the P365, and then $770 for the XL, and then about $739 for the setup that I was gonna need for the P365X. So basically the cost breakdown wound up being pretty similar for all of them. And again, I knew I didn't really want to do the XL. And with the prices between the standard and the X being so close, I figured it was worth it to just go with the X because I wasn't gonna have to deal with sending it out to get milled, and I was gonna be able to have 2 grip modules, and nothing wrong with having 2 grip modules. I actually prefer shooting with the X grip. So that's kind of how I landed on picking the P365X over either of the other 2 models. Which brings me to thanking the sponsors for today's video. Big Tex Ordinance actually contacted me and offered to send me a P365X after I had gone through that entire process of kind of pricing everything out and getting everything ready to go. So thank you, Big Tex, for sending me the P365X to talk about in today's video. Big Tex is known for their awesome online selection and outstanding customer service. You can find almost anything you need through their site, and they recently opened up a range in Conroe, Texas. So if you're ever in their neck of the woods, tell them I said hi. And the last thing I want to kind of talk about in this video really quick is just my overall impressions of carrying and shooting the P365X. But if you want a little bit more of an in-depth idea on this, I did a video just solely on my first impressions of the P365X. So I'm just going to kind of summarize that here. Overall, I found that it is notably easier for me to carry than my Glock 48, but not quite as easy as carrying my Glock 42, and that could be partially because my Glock 42 is just irons, and it's also slimmer because the Glock 42 is chambered in 380. I also have both grip modules for the P365 just standard as well as the X grip module, and it kind of depends on what kind of way I'm choosing to carry. So if I'm deep concealing my gun, as in the entire gun is completely below my waistband, I prefer just the standard grip module. But if I'm carrying it above my waistline, I don't mind carrying the X grip module. It's a lot easier for me to get a solid grip on the gun with the longer grip because it actually interacts really well with my entire palm, whereas with the smaller grip module, it's just not quite as hefty of a grip on the gun. And then as far as shooting impressions go, I've taken it to a 2-day class and several range trips, and something I really, really love about it is how smooth the trigger is. I have this problem that I'm working on where I really like to pin the trigger, but I'm much more inclined to pin the trigger on my Glock than I am on the SIG. It's a lot easier for me to really speed up my split times on the SIG. I think it's because the SIG just doesn't have quite the same wall that my Glock trigger does, and I really, really like that. But it's not perfect, and I'm not 100% sold on it yet, so stay tuned for future videos on that. I totally have plans to work more with the SIG and make future videos on why I'm not 100% sold on it yet, but ways that I kind of hope to improve and get better with the SIG P365 as well as the X. So thanks for watching today's video. I hope it was helpful for you in kind of navigating the differences between the guns and kind of the cost preferences and why I wound up with what I wound up with. And I'll see you guys in next week's video.